lifeless body of a humble contractor is left for dead at a local fire station.
There's stab wounds on both his chest and in his back.
This truck is covered in blood.
To solve the case, investigators must trace the crime back to its point of origin.
What's that look like to you?
But first, a code of silence needs to be broken.
You're lying through your teeth.
Get the hell out of my house!
The situation did get rather crazy very quick.
Just the smallest little thing can set people off into a horrible rage.
The first thing you learn as a police detective is people do not respond out of a sense of duty. They don't respond to doing the right thing. They don't respond out of a sense of loyalty. They respond to pressure. Self-preservation is what works.
There's one thing that never changes. Murder. A life has been taken. Their stories are now my stories. I never know where a case is going to lead, but I'll never stop until it's solved. Somebody has to look out for the victim.
If you kill, I will find you.
After a shift change at Fire Station 6, Captain Jerry Binder is making sure his crew is ready for action.
Listen, Chapman, you can't go out there without your gear. I don't want to see that happening again. You got me?
That's Captain.
Okay, good.
Captain Binder was the captain of this station, and he was a strong leader, had high expectations for his crew members.
Keep that helmet strapped.
Somebody help! Help,
What's wrong,
please. There's a man who's hurt real bad.
Where?
He's outside in his truck.
Ricky, get trauma kit. Meet me outside.
When an emergency responds to the front door of your station, it's an instant go-to-work mode.
So he goes running outside and finds a shirtless man in the front seat covered in blood.
Hang in there, buddy. We got you.
Come on now.
Get the leak. There you go. There you go.
Damn it. Let's put pressure on that.
As they lay him down, we see there's stab wounds on both his chest and in his back. We begin direct pressure on those injuries, make sure his airway is clear, stop the bleeding.
Jackie! Come here, take over for me, will you? Code 3, we need help down to Station 6 right away.
As Binder completes the transmission,
What the hell? Hey, lady!
he looks up and sees that the woman is now walking south, away from the scene.
Where you going?
She's walking away very quickly, like she doesn't want to have anything to do with what's going on.
So what ended up happening with that call over in Fairmount?
Nothing.
Just no woman couldn't get the garage door open.
On this particular evening, May 29th of 1984, I was still a patrol sergeant working the evening shift.
Did you help her figure it out?
Yeah, come to find out, she's at the wrong house.
Dispatch to 4
Go 4 Paul 1.
Code 3 in progress to Fire Station 6. All units requested.
10-4, 4 Paul 1 around. Let's move.
Generally, a patrol sergeant's job is to supervise officers on the street. But if a call of a serious nature came in, I would always respond.
You all right, Jerry? So any idea what happened here?
I have no clue. Victim was dropped off in this truck out back, covered in stab wounds. Doesn't look good.
You know we're gonna have to cordon off the area.
Hey, do what you gotta do.
If you are responding to a violent crime scene, your first determination is to determine the basic facts.
Want to set up a perimeter?
Yes, sir.
Once those facts are known, I was the deciding factor as to what specialists were required.
4 Paul 1 to dispatch.
There's not much the patrol can do with this, so he called for detectives from the homicide unit to respond.
Not 30 minutes later, Detective John Anderson arrives on scene.
John, Garrett?
Evening, Joe. When this first happened, I was the lead detective on this case.
Anderson, a very good detective, well-trained, well-experienced.
So what are we looking at?
Well, the victim showed up in a truck out back, severe stab wounds to both his back and his chest. We just got notification of his DOA at the hospital.
We got an ID?
He had a wallet on him.
He is, according to the license, James Seaman, 42 years of age. They take that name and they check the registration on the license plate on this truck, and it's his truck.
So he drove himself here? We're not so sure about that. The firefighter said a woman told him about the victim, but she disappeared while they were giving life support.
Did she give a name?
No, but they described her as being Hispanic, dark hair, wearing a red jacket.
Can we get a canvas of the area started?
My guys are already on it.
What's important now is to find this woman. Is she responsible for this attack? Or is she a good Samaritan?
Let's take a look inside the truck yet?
Not yet.
All right, let's do it.
To our knowledge at this juncture, the only crime scene we have as a possibility is the truck in which he arrived in this fire station.
Guy must have been losing blood pretty fast.
There is a lot of blood in this truck.
There was blood caked on the front seat. There was blood on the steering wheel.
Yeah, there's certainly a lot. It's like transfer blood to me.
There's no cast off on the dash or anything either. He probably wasn't stabbed with the truck.
No, you're probably right.
So now we don't believe the crime scene is in the vehicle. We have to look elsewhere.
So what do you got there? Drywall.
Business cards bearing his name are found in the cab of the vehicle, and the business card says that he is a drywall subcontractor.
Hey, sir. Any luck with the canvas?
Nothing, unfortunately. Dispatch checked with records. Victim's got a wife.
Mary Seaman.
The question becomes obvious, is Mary Seaman the woman in red? We don't know, but we're going to have to find Mary Seaman to find out what she can tell us about her husband, James.
Hey, Joe, you and you guys hold down the floor. We're gonna go look into this.
You got it.
Can I help you?
Man, we're with CSPD. We're looking for Mary Seaman.
I'm Mary.
The investigators take one look at her and realize she cannot be the woman in red. Mrs. Seaman is not Hispanic, so now those investigators have to give her some very awful news.
Mary, I know this is hard. Do you know what your husband was doing earlier today?
No, I don't know. He hasn't actually been living here.
Mary tells police that she and James have been married for 5 years, but things have started to get a little bit rocky. And as a matter of fact, he moved out about a week ago.
I'm sorry to hear that.
We had issues in our marriage, but deep down, Jim's got a good heart. He works hard, and he gets along with most everybody.
Kind of a tough, blue-collar kind of guy, but generally he's got a sensitive side to him.
Do you know if he was having any problems with anyone recently?
I do remember him saying something about there being an issue with some guy who was working for him, but it didn't seem that serious.
Remember the guy's name?
He didn't say.
That, of course, is interesting, but there's really very little information there that's pursuable. So they ask her if Jim has any friends or associates who are Hispanic women.
I can't think of anybody like that. But I don't know who he's been hanging around lately. You'd be better off talking to his friend, John Gibson. That's who he's been staying with.
Thank you, Mary.
We'll see ourselves out.
Sorry for your loss.
With no time to waste, detectives head to the home of Jim Seaman's new roommate.
We knew that was maybe a possible crime scene, so we needed to talk to Mr. Gibson.
Yeah. Mr. Gibson? Detective Anderson with CSPD. If we take a look around your house?
My house? For what?
Your friend Jim was found murdered.
Jim? What the hell are you talking about?
Mr. Gibson is totally shocked at this news.
Mind if we take a look around?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Mr. Gibson, when was the last time you saw Jim?
I think I got home from work. I want to say maybe around 5 o'clock. All he did was shower and head right back down.
Gibson reports he was going to go to a graduation party at a house in the area that belonged to a friend of his named Rose.
You know who this Rose person is?
Yeah, I met her before, but I don't really know her.
You know what she looks like?
Oh, she's short, got long black hair.
Is she white?
No, she's Latina.
So Rose is a Hispanic female. Could she own a red jacket by any chance?
Do you know where Rose lives?
Yeah, over on Charwood. Excuse me. Place is clear?
We could find no evidence of blood or any indication that there'd been a struggle. It was obvious that this was not our crime scene.
Appreciate your cooperation.
Yeah.
Let's get a cruiser over there on Charwood.
Yes, sir.
At that point, we wanted to find Rose to see if she was the woman in the red jacket. But we also wanted to see if where she lived was possibly our crime scene.
Can I help you?
A woman answered the door. She matched the description of the woman at the fire station.
We're homicide detectives with the Colorado Springs Police Department. Hey, Rose?
Yes.
Rose what?
Sorry, huh?
Is that your jacket?
We're standing talking to a Hispanic female, and over her shoulder we see a red jacket. Well, no. 2 and 2 often equals 4. We're standing on the right porch. This investigation begins with the discovery of 42-year-old Jim Seaman dying inside his own truck. A woman drove that truck to that fire station wearing a red jacket. The officers have found a Hispanic female and they see a red jacket.
Rose, did you drive Jim Seaman to the fire station in his truck this morning?
Yes.
So now they know. They've hit the jackpot.
Is Jim okay?
I'm afraid not. He's dead.
Oh, God. I swear, I don't know what happened.
So you won't mind if we take a look around? Keep an eye on him.
Yes, sir. Ma'am, right here with me.
We knew this was a brutal stabbing, so we're suspecting there will be blood evidence at the scene.
They walk in this house, and it's fairly obvious that a major party had taken place. Empty red cups, beer cans, liquor bottles.
And looking at Rose's kitchen, there were dirty dishes everywhere, but there was one thing that really stood out.
Does that look weird to you?
Yeah, a little bit.
As soon as we saw the knife, which really appeared out of place,
Let's get that thing bagged.
You got it.
we immediately thought this could be our murder weapon.
As they continue to search the house,
Check this out.
Anderson notices something alarming at the top of the basement staircase.
What's that look like to you?
That's blood.
Got that right.
We are on third base at this moment.
As we follow the blood evidence downstairs, we find a bloody shirt. We also saw a mop that appeared to be blood-stained.
There is smeared blood on the floor, as if the most incompetent user of a mop in the history of the world tried to clean up the floor for a few minutes.
Looks like we found our crime scene.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So Rose has a little more explaining to do about the source of all of this blood.
John, call dispatch. Let them know we gotta get this crime scene processed.
Yes, sir.
As for you, I need you to tell us exactly what happened here today.
Okay.
Rose isn't stupid. She knows why they're asking her.
We're throwing a graduation party for a family friend, and things just got crazy.
She says it slowly escalated into an adult party, and everybody got pretty drunk.
I was out front. And next thing I know, Jim just stumbled out of the house. Oh my God. Jim. Jim. What the hell happened?
Rose said she saw that Jim was hurt. He was struggling to get into his pickup truck.
Okay, I'll drive it out. Scoot, move!
She knew he needed help immediately.
We got in the truck, and I was going to take him to the hospital. But when I saw the fire station, I just figured that they'd help him faster.
Why don't you stay with me at the fire station?
I didn't want to be involved.
Rose, you are involved in this, so your plan failed.
So how do you know Jim?
We haven't known each other long. I'm a painter, and we just met on a construction job a few months ago.
Were the two of you romantically involved?
No, nothing like that. Just friends.
As a matter of fact, Jim had confided in her that he still loved his wife and hoped they could work things out.
So you had nothing to do with Jim's death?
No, I swear to God, I wasn't involved.
At this point, we're
She's a witness and maybe isn't completely honest with them about what she knows about this, but they don't believe she's responsible.
So then who did kill Jim?
I don't know. Everybody loves him. Some of the people at the party, they've even done drywall for him before.
So you didn't see him at all?
I only remember seeing him in the kitchen. He was playing dominoes.
By himself?
No, he was playing with Armando.
Armando who?
Alvarez.
Mondo?
You know him?
Yeah, I know him. I've arrested him several times. Guy's in and out of prison. Real piece of work.
Detectives wonder if a drunken game of dominoes might have spurred a sudden explosion of violence.
What's she gonna do, Mondo?
Shut up, Tim.
Wrong move.
Damn it, Jim.
It's too easy.
Cheating son of a bitch.
What did you say?
I said you cheated.
I didn't do. Just relax.
Did the prison personality take over, and Armando decides that Mr. Seaman needs to meet his maker? Could that be possible? Oh, yes, it could.
Gentlemen,
Hey, Joe. Long time no see.
so what do you guys got?
So we got a crime scene in the basement. Possible murder weapon is in the kitchen. We're gonna need this entire house processed.
Okay, what about her?
She's good. For now.
Go ahead and secure the house. Ma'am, come with me.
As the sun begins to rise, Anderson is ready to give his new suspect, Armando Alvarez, a wake-up call.
What do you want? When police get to Armando Alvarez's house, they're greeted by this short little angry woman who is not in any mood to have police at her house.
We're looking for Armando Alvarez.
My husband ain't here.
No? Where is he?
Not here. Well, you want to talk to him?
Hey, that's Mondo.
Armando, freeze!
They see a shadow darting across the hallway, and they push past her to go get Armando, and she goes off.
Get the hell out of my house!
So the situation did get rather crazy very quick.
She's absolutely out of control. These are the right kind of folks that we want to talk to about somebody being stabbed to death. Investigators are trying to determine who stabbed Jim Seaman to death at a graduation party. They're focused on an ex-convict, Armando Alvarez. When they approach him at his home, his wife immediately attacks an officer unprovoked.
Damn it! I'll kill you!
Drop the shoe! Drop the shoe! Drop it! Get on the ground! Stop it. Calm down. Stop fighting.
So, this is craziness happening in the entry hall of this house.
Hey, you! There. You! Take your hand off! Hands on my wife! Knock it off!
Calm down.
Her husband sees police trying to subdue her. He gets angry.
So now we're trying to control him. At the same time, we're arresting his wife.
Son of a bitch! He did nothing!
She assaulted a police officer! Send her a central booking!
Stand by.
Listen, if you want to help her, you need to help us.
Armando is not happy about all of this. For second-degree assault on a police officer.
What happened yesterday?
I went to a graduation party for my nephew.
You were there with Jim Seaman.
Jim? No, I worked drywall with him, but I didn't see him at the party.
Oh, that's interesting. Because we were told that you were there playing dominoes together.
So, unless you play dominoes wearing a blindfold, Armando, we're going to assume that you're lying through your teeth.
Look, there were a lot of people at the party, okay? Only whoever said that, only got me confused with somebody else.
You're saying you have no idea who stabbed Jim?
I didn't know if Jim got stabbed. Probably I left before that even happened.
This is the typical response you get from people with a criminal past. Nobody ever knows anything.
Well, since you probably have nothing to hide, you don't mind if we take a look around, do you?
I guess. Take a look.
We're searching this house looking for bloody clothing, a knife, any other similar item that may connect him directly to this offense.
Got nothing.
We don't find anything of any evidentiary value. We know he's not telling the truth, but we don't have enough to arrest him.
So we good?
No, not really. You might hear from us soon.
What about my wife?
Feel free to post a bell whenever you want.
After striking out with Armando, detectives rethink their approach.
Jim's wife, Mary, had told us that she knew of a minor altercation at work with a coworker. We know Armando did work for Jim, so it becomes important for us to get more information from the construction site.
Jim? He's a top-notch guy. He's been doing drywall on my sites for a few years now. He and his crew always do good work.
At the construction site, we do talk to Ron Hopper, and he tells us that he hired Jim to be the foreman of the drywall crew.
How many guys were working for him on his most recent job?
There were 3 of them. Kino, Rufus, and Armando.
Know of any recent problems between Armando and Jim?
Between Jim and Armando? No, not that I can recall. But you know, there was a minor issue between Jim and Kino the other day.
Ron says the source of conflict between Kino and Jim was a paycheck.
Hey, Ron.
Hey, what's up, Kino?
Just about to grab my check.
Your check? Jim already grabbed it for you.
Wait, what? When?
Early this morning.
And you gave it to him?
Well, yeah. I mean, I figured you told him to swing by and grab it or something.
No way. I need that money now, man. I got people I gotta pay.
Well, I mean, Jim said he's going to another work site this afternoon. I'm sure you could find him there.
I don't have time for this shit. Who the hell does Jim think he is?
Relax, Kino.
Hey.
We're getting out of here all pissed off. And trust me, you don't want to be on Kino's bad side.
What is that?
Guy can fly off the handle pretty easy.
Ron tells police that Kino has a very bad temper, especially when he's been drinking, and it can turn violent.
Wouldn't be surprised if he had words about it with Jim off site.
What's Kino's last name?
Garcia.
Garcia. All right, we appreciate your time. Thank you.
So at this point, Kino emerges as a stronger suspect than Armando. because Kino has a motive. So now the question is, was Kino Garcia at that party?
In search of some answers, Detective Anderson circles back to Rose Trejo.
Excuse me.
Can I help you?
Hi. Detective Anderson with CSPD. I'm looking for Rose Trejo. She said she was staying here.
She left already.
Do you know when she'll be back?
She didn't say.
Well, maybe you can help me then. Were you at your aunt's party?
She reports, I was there, and I remember Jim Seaman covered in blood.
Did you see what happened?
No, I just saw him stumbling around. I freaked out. I just ran out there as quickly as I could.
Let me ask you something. Do you know who Kino Garcia is?
Yeah, why?
Did you happen to see him at the party?
Yeah, I saw Kino. Right before that whole incident with Jim happened, I saw him go into the basement.
Really?
Wow. Not only does she put the man with a motive at the party, she puts him in close contact with the victim shortly before his injuries took place. That is important.
After Rose's niece drops this bombshell, Anderson sets out to learn more about their new prime suspect.
Hey, Anderson. I was over at Records and Duffy asked if I could drop this off to you.
Is that the Garcia file?
Sure is.
Man, look at his record.
We do a background check, and we find that he is a convicted felon. He's been on parole, and he was last arrested for robbery and aggravated assault.
You think that might be your guy?
Very well might be.
This has all come together rather nicely, and Mr. Garcia has some explaining to do. So we've learned that Jim Seaman had a recent confrontation with one of his drywall workers, and this drywall worker is currently on parole from the state penitentiary. It's time to go speak to him and find out what he has to say about this.
Mr. Garcia, thank you for meeting with us.
Yeah, I'm used to it.
So tell us about your relationship with your colleague, Jim Seaman.
Jim was my homie. I can't believe what happened to him. It's terrible.
Kino tells police that Jim's a great guy to work with, and he doesn't really have any problems with him.
Well, if that's the case, then tell us what happened between you and him regarding your paycheck.
At the work site? No, man. That was nothing. Not a problem.
He explains that he blew that completely out of proportion. He said it was no big deal, that they've talked about it, it's behind them.
So you didn't have any words with Jim in the basement at Rose's party the other day?
No, man. We were good. And besides, I never even went in the basement.
Any ideas how Jim got stabbed?
I went outside before that even happened. When I came back, everyone was going nuts.
Right.
So he falls right in line with everybody else who had just left, just got there, or were in the bathroom when somebody was killing Jim Seaman.
Just got a small problem with that. Because someone told us that they saw you go downstairs just moments before Jim was stabbed.
What? Who told you that?
Well, someone we've been talking to. Someone who saw you.
I don't know. I had a lot to drink, you know?
We confront him that we do have an eyewitness that puts him downstairs, and he begins to backtrack.
So now you could have been in the basement.
I don't know. But if I was down there, I definitely didn't see what happened.
Well, if you're in the basement, then surely you saw something.
Garcia's face collapses, and he realizes his story is crumbling before his eyes, and then all of a sudden he just drops his head and says,
Look, I swear I didn't kill Jim, but I can't be no snitch, man.
So you're telling us that you know who killed Jim?
I'm saying I'm done talking.
Is he trying to protect someone who did this, or is he only trying to protect himself? Could be either one.
This is how it's going to be, Kino? Fine. Come on. You're free to go.
I am?
Yeah. At this point, we decide to let Kino go. We don't think we have enough to hold him, and we certainly don't have enough to convict him.
I want to pair eyes on him. I want to track his every move.
Good thinking.
You got it.
Anderson wants to be in a better position with Kino Garcia and return to him when he has more leverage against him, either through other witnesses or other information he may be able to.
Detectives continue to search for new information from Seaman's colleagues at work.
If they can find that person who has more loyalty to Mr. Seaman than they have to their associates, they may loosen this. So they go find the third member they haven't talked to in this drywall crew, and that's Rufus Medina.
Mr. Medina.
Yes?
Detective Anderson with the Colorado Springs Police Department. I'd like to talk to you for a minute about Jim Seaman.
Jim? Yeah, of course. Hey, go play Mom for a little bit, okay?
Detective Anderson is thinking perhaps we've met someone who's loyal to Mr. Seaman. This guy looks like a genuine family man.
You know, it's just real awful what happened to Jim. Someone like him didn't deserve to die that way.
Well, that's why we're doing everything we can to figure out what happened to him. Were you at the party the other day?
I was, and to be honest, I had a few myself. I remember hearing some screaming, but that's about it.
So Rufus Medina all of a sudden becomes the same sort of I was there but I didn't see anything guy that everybody else has been.
So what do you know about the issue with the paycheck between Jim and your coworker Kino?
It's water under the bridge as far as I know.
You don't think Kino had it out for him?
Kino? No way. Kino would never do something like that.
He then says, if I knew who hurt him, I would tell you. And I have no idea who hurt Jim Seaman.
But you know what? If I hear anything, you'll be the first person to know, okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Rufus does come off somewhat credible. The problem is that everybody we've talked to deny knowing anything. This is one of those situations where everybody is lying.
The first thing you learn as a police detective is people do not respond out of a sense of duty. They don't respond to doing the right thing. They respond to pressure.
But where will that pressure come from? A few days later, Anderson finds his answer.
Anderson? Yeah, put her through. We got somebody on the line saying they know something about the Jim Seaman case.
Hello?
At this point in the investigation, we got an anonymous phone call from a woman who claimed to be at the party.
Did you see what happened to Jim Seaman?
No, but I saw him when he came up from the basement.
She saw Jim Seaman come up out of the basement, covered in blood, and he shouted, "Rufus, you son of a bitch."
You heard Jim say that?
Yeah, he was shouting it. Then I looked down the basement steps, and that's when I saw him.
The anonymous caller said that she looked past Jim down the bottom of the stairs and saw Rufus. He was covered with blood, raging with anger.
Rufus Medina?
Yeah. Rufus was really the last name that police thought they would hear.
We've finally stirred this nest enough to where there are enough hornets now that are buzzing. We're getting very close to who's responsible for this crime. Time we've been focusing on a couple of different people, and an anonymous phone tip has provided a new suspect, that Rufus Medina, Mr. I don't know who hurt Jim Seaman, is the guy who killed him.
But before zeroing in on Rufus, detectives hope to reap the rewards of an earlier strategy.
We decide we want to go back to Kino. It appears that he's violated his parole, so we think this pressure may bring him to tell us the truth.
Do you know why you're back here, Mr. Garcia? We understand you're in violation of your parole.
We've got you drinking and hanging around convicted felons.
Listen, Kino, you've got two options. I can either call your parole officer and have you sent back to the state pen in a heartbeat, or you can help us understand who killed Jim Seaman.
There's always a limit to your loyalty and always a limit to your willingness to continue with the code of silence. Parole violation is a serious limit.
Okay. All right. I was in the basement when Jim got stabbed. I swear to God, it wasn't me.
Okay, tell us what happened.
We were all in the basement.
Who was?
Me, Rufus, Armando, and Jim.
Keno says they're talking to Seaman about work, and everybody's really drunk, and everybody's kind of a little angry.
We're all yelling back and forth. That's when I saw Rufus pull a knife.
He said all of a sudden, Rufus Medina attacks Seaman like a wild animal.
Keno says he tried to get the knife away, but it was too late. Jim had already been stabbed several times.
Then Jim took his shirt off and staggered up the steps. I couldn't believe it.
So you're telling us that Rufus stabbed him?
Mm-hmm.
How would Rufus do that?
I don't know, man.
He said, well, I was pretty drunk. I don't remember what was said just before Rufus went off, but Rufus went off.
Are we good now?
Not exactly. I have to hold you for the time being.
Officer?
What Keno Garcia is saying certainly matches well with the anonymous phone call, but they're going to need more than the accusation of a known criminal to get a conviction on Rufus Medina. They want a statement from Rufus. They want him to say what he did.
Before sitting down with Rufus Medina, detectives dig into his background and make some interesting discoveries.
We do find out that he, like his two buddies, is also on parole.
He's not the saint that they thought he might be. He has a violent background, and he's somebody that obviously could have done this.
So we bring in Rufus Medina. He remains very calm. He's an experienced criminal.
Guys, look, I'd love to help you, but I promise I was never down in that basement.
That's not what we were told.
I don't know where you guys are getting this stuff. Jim was my friend, and I would never hurt him.
He didn't know nothing about nothing. He didn't stab Jim Seaman. He doesn't know who did.
So is this how you want to play it? Fine. But mark my words. If I find out that you killed Jim Seaman, I'm going to put you away for it.
Although we probably had enough to arrest Rufus, we know our witnesses are not credible, and we do have a problem with some of the evidence. So we decide to not arrest him at that point.
Rufus, we don't forgive, and we don't forget. You should keep that in mind.
As the investigation continues into the summer, a familiar face is transferred back to Homicide.
Hey, sir. I had returned to Homicide, and as the supervisor, I'm responsible for the actual closure of the case.
So where are we at in the Seaman case? Nobody's story stays consistent. Everyone's telling something different. You know how it goes.
Okay. Right. I think it's time we start subpoenaing some of these people.
No point in wasting any more time.
All right.
We decided to impanel a grand jury. So we began serving subpoenas to the people at the party to induce them to come in and cooperate on the record with the risk of them being charged with a felony for perjury.
As a result of that pressure, they all testify, and one by one, they all name Rufus Medina as the person who killed Jim Seaman.
After that grand jury, we got a much better picture now of what happened.
Seaman comes to this party after he gets off work. The party is well attended, and everybody is juiced. They've been drinking all afternoon.
That's game. Thank you. Man, this is too easy.
Still can't believe that son of a bitch took my check like that.
Oh, he didn't tell you anything about it?
No, man, I need that money right away, too.
They're still discussing that paycheck incident.
First he takes some checks, and then he holds our money? Who does this guy think he is?
I don't know.
And Rufus is getting more and more agitated that he needs to back up his man Keno.
Let's teach this gringo a lesson. Hey, Jim, Mondo, let's go downstairs. I want to show you guys something.
Sure thing, Miguel. When we come back up, I'm gonna make it 2 in a row.
Yeah.
What you guys got down here?
Oh, you're breaking up the black label?
All right.
Why are you such a Jim? The money, man. Why are you messing with people's lives?
The paycheck, man! Oh, I thought we already talked about this. I needed that money right away, man.
Just because you run everything, you can just hold that money from us?
I'm sorry, man. I was just trying to be helpful. I wasn't trying to screw you out of anything.
Jim tries to stop the argument, apologizes, but it was obvious that Rufus and Keno didn't want an apology. They wanted something else.
I'm a man, Holmes. You know, it's little kid. Whoa. Don't you touch me, man. Hey, don't touch me. I know that you're pissed off, but don't put your hands on me, okay?
So Keno and Seaman get involved in a shoving match, but before punches start to be thrown,
You think you're better than us? You're done, man. You're done.
Rufus! Rufus!
Medina just goes off into a wild, animalistic rage.
Rufus! What are you doing, man? Stop!
He stabs him in the chest and he turns to get away from the blade. He stabs him in the back. So Seaman pulls his shirt off and staggers up the stairs.
You should have paid us, you piece of... That's what you get! You should have gave us our money!
Jim staggers out to his truck. Rose helps him into the truck and drives him to the fire station.
The grand jury indicted Rufus Medina for one count of first-degree murder, and no charges were filed against anyone else who testified in front of the grand jury.
8 months later, Rufus Medina pleads guilty to second-degree murder.
Rufus Medina apologizes enormously. The judge thought he was sincere. He gave him a reduced sentence on second-degree murder of 16 years based on his remorse.
Jim Seaman did not deserve to die, especially under these circumstances. This was a gruesome death, and it was an avoidable death.
Reality is a terrible thing because it's so real. Mr. Seaman dies over nothing. Mr. Medina goes back to prison over losing his temper. How could that make sense to anyone? It can't, because it doesn't make sense.